Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. All right, that's a little better. That's a little better. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, on YouTube and on the podcast. I am your host, Mike Razor of the Real Estate Confidant School. And today, let me pull this down just a little bit. Today, we are going to be discussing building family wealth through real estate. All right, building family wealth through real estate. This is very important, and there's various strategies to doing it. I talk about it in past podcasts and a few YouTube videos as well. But I felt the need to go over it again, to recap, to get this information out there to those who are not privy to it. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, first thing I want to say is if you haven't picked up the book, go ahead and pick up the real estate, the 90-Day Blitz for newbie real estate professionals. You could get that on our website. You get that on our website, therealestateconfidantschool.com, or you could get it on Amazon.com under the 90-Day Blitz for newbie real estate professionals. Sign up for the membership. Currently, membership is $7.99 a month. And you'll get these private Q&As, live private calls, et cetera, where you can ask any question that you like, and what have you. Okay. You also get invited to exclusive events, exclusive, Q&As, walkthroughs of properties, and so on and so forth. All right. So let's get into this, and let's see how we could show you all the way. All right. So, family wealth. A lot of us have come from families that live in certain type of environments. They may live in low income housing. They may live on farmland. They may live in middle class neighborhoods. It depends. Some of your parents were doctors. Some of your parents were teachers. Some of your parents were lawyers. Some of your parents didn't have a job, and so they weren't taught. They were only taught the normal 9 to 5. Go to school, get good grades so that you could work for the man, right? So we are talking about and discussing not working for the man, but working for yourself and building an equitable structure for you to live off of and to pass down to your family. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So this is most important. This is very important now. This is very important. Hopefully you got it together. So the first thing you have to do is get out of your own way. That's number one. But you have to learn from people who have done what it is that you're trying to do. It's going to get you to your goal faster. Okay? Truth and honesty is going to get you to your goal faster. And I've been in situations where I tried to do things on my own, and it took me way longer than it needed to take me for me to learn, and for me to implement my strategies and success in real estate and in business as a whole. Okay, it wasn't until I started working with mentors like Gene Alert, like Harold Vasselin, like who else? Oh man, Gold Star Properties in New York, Tiana Von Johnson. It wasn't until I started working with Sherman Nema, Joe Principe. I'm naming a few names in various businesses and various aspects of business, and also my uncle, in Virginia as well. So strategies are required in order for you to succeed. Businessmen can teach you the things that you need to know if you've never done it before. Don't be so arrogant that you fail to realize that there's something that you need that you learn in every scenario, in every situation. Okay, Also, don't be narrow-minded and don't be so eager to jump into something that you become bamboozled. Okay. And what I mean by that is, don't be quick to jump into an opportunity with an individual end up paying a whole bunch of money, and then you get nothing out of it. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe it's not time for you to get to that point yet, and you still have another structure you have to build before you're ready to work with a specific mentor. Okay. You have to be mindful of these things as well. Okay. I want to send some love to Jay Morrison, to his wife, Ernestine Morrison, excuse me, to Will Roundtree, We Management Services, to Roberta Hosky, Connect with Roberta, and others out there who are helping the community and helping people to grow and to be business minded and to build a business structure for their family and for their future, and be successful. All right. So the first thing, and what's most important, ladies and gentlemen, is this: you have to build a plan of action. And I said that a couple podcasts ago, but it's true. It is indeed true, right? You have to know where you're going to get where you need to go, right? You have to know where you're starting from and the process is going to take to get there. So if you're going to go into business for yourself, right? For example, you have various options. You could purchase a franchise. You could purchase a tax franchise. I think tax franchises like Jumpin' Jack Tax, Dana Chanel's company and her husband's company, Donnell, I think that's his name. I think it's like $5,000 or $3,000 or something like that to start, and they work with you through the process of that. Like they say, you need to have a business that people want and need. Okay. So you could start a tax business, right? I have friends from high school and college that has a CPA company in Norfolk, Virginia. Um, and they're doing amazing. Okay. You want to start your own coffee shop. You might want to start your own newspaper route, maybe a shipping company, whatever you want to do, something that's going to bring in money. And the point to doing this is not so that you could have a separate 9 to 5. It's so that you could be independent and so that you could hire people for work who need work. And two, be able to live abundantly and free, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it is very important. So, obviously, the structure of business as a whole, you have various options. Like I said before, you have the franchise. You could start already seasoned business. My suggestion is speak to a professional attorney about that first, though. A business attorney with regard to seasoned businesses, which are shelf companies that have been around for several years already, with already having a track record. This way, you don't have to start from scratch with the company. Okay, you already have a track record. It already has credit. You just got to make sure that there's no liens or loans or anything like that that's owed to the company. Taxes, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so that's another scenario that you could work on, right? And then 3, you could just start the company yourself. Use IncFile, IncFile. They have certain packages you could utilize and choose which package is best for you. Find out which type of company you want to start, such as a real estate management company, a tax service, a consulting company, just an overall, it could be a bookstore, whatever it is. All right. So then you create the LLC. You'll get the EIN number completed under IncFile as well. If you want to, you could pay for that, or you could do it yourself. Go to the IRS website and do that yourself. It's up to you. All right. And then what you guys want to do is you want to go to Opus Virtual Offices. This way, you're trying to legitimize your business as much as you possibly can, especially if you're starting from scratch, right? You can have a business at home. That is true. If you have a space for it, you can have a desk, separate the space from your living area, et cetera, et cetera. Write that off in taxes. That is true. You can do that, right? But what you want to do for your main business is you want to actually have an office space. Okay. The reason why you want to do that is so that you could have so that it'll be easier for you to get business lines of credit, business loans, et cetera, et cetera. They're going to look at these things. Is your business in your home? Is your business at the office? Do you have places that you could send your mail, et cetera, et cetera? Also, you want to have a business bank account. Okay, business bank account. Okay, which means that you have to already have your LLC completed, your EIN completed, articles of organization, et cetera, already done. All right. Once you do that, you can move on to the next phase, which is getting your office space, and then also getting your business cards, getting your website up. You need all that. Okay. Use Shopify for your website. Use or use a Squarespace for your website. It's up to you. My suggestion is to choose, which one is best. And for your business cards, you could go to Zazzle.com. They usually have discounts, but they have amazing business cards that you could get and utilize. It's true. So use those platforms. I just gave you all some information. Use those platforms for your business. Okay, for building your business. If you have questions, you can email me at info@therealestateconfidentschool.com. All right. And I'll be happy to respond to your questions. All right. Next move. You're building your business. You're building your structure. You're building your company. Okay, as a whole. So our expertise is in real estate and in business development, right? So what do? What's the next steps? How do you get there? Right? This is what you do. You begin doing research on the neighborhoods that you're interested in purchasing in. You find strategies, your exit strategies for the properties before you start this process. Okay. You create a proposal as well. The proposal is going to give you an opportunity to cold call people, cold call family, friends, et cetera, send them the proposal. You could use templates on Microsoft Word with a detailed description of the business plan that you plan on putting together. You could get business plans offline and then just plug everything in. This way you don't have to sit there and type a whole business plan out. You can have a plan already in play that other people have already written for you. This way you can focus on the overall scheme of things, okay? So we're talking about finding out what your end strategy is, finding out what your exit strategy is for that proposal, putting those exit strategies on the proposal with the intro and with the description of what it is that you plan to do. For example, you find a neighborhood that is run down, and you know that if you redevelop this entire neighborhood, all the houses, etc., that this place will be flourishing, drugs will be gone, etc., right? You see historic districts a couple blocks away, downtowns a couple blocks away. It was just dealt a bad hand, right? So you create the proposal, right? You explain to them the numbers. How do you find the numbers? You go ahead to biggerpockets.com/calc. You look at each property, look at the tax rate, find out what the comps are in the neighborhood for the specific properties. You bulk the properties together after you do the calculations and say, hey, look, the plan is to do renovations on all these properties. The return on investment is this amount per the rents that will be placed on each unit in the property. You as a business partner will receive this percentage rate of the monthly investment, okay, once the investment has gone through. All right. And then what you do is you you discuss the exit strategies at the end, and you also may want to discuss the changes that the county has made in that area, specifically towards taxes, et cetera, what their plans are. I know some neighborhoods where the county has lowered the tax rate by $2,000, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So those are things you want to put in the proposal as well. And you want to show the 5-year growth specs, which you will do when you fill out the biggerpockets.com/calc calculator. Okay, I'm putting it in the link. All right. And it'll show you graphs, it'll show you percentages, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And what you do is you put the proposal together with the plan, with the numbers, right? And at the end, you show the exit strategy. Exit strategy. If for whatever reason we are unable to sell the properties, or we are unable to rent to general renters, we'll place the property under Section 8 housing. If that doesn't work out, we'll place the property under assisted living facilities for the elderly. If that doesn't work out, maybe we'll use it as a homeless shelter, but that would be the last resort. These are the things that you put into the proposal so that individuals could see what it is that you're talking about. Maybe what you want to do is use that entire neighborhood as assisted living, turn the entire neighborhood into assisted living facilities, and rebuild the community by cleaning up the parks in that area, fixing the structure of the ground, maybe the sidewalk, maybe buying out the properties that have the storefronts and turning the storefronts into, coffee houses, or, private schools, or what have you. You have these options. So this is that aspect, right? So separate from that, how do you go about finding the properties, purchasing the properties, et cetera, et cetera? I'm giving you game, ladies and gentlemen. I'm giving you game. All right. So in business, you do the comps, right? You do the comparables. Sorry about that, my collar. You do the comparables on the properties in the neighborhood. First, you walk through the neighborhoods, you find out which properties or what neighborhoods are within your price point. You could go to Zillow, Trulia, and a few other places to find properties on the MLS. You could do that. You could reach out to agents, but usually when you reach out to agents want you to already have a pre-approval letter, which that's the next step that I'm going to discuss. But what you do is you choose specific neighborhoods. If you know the neighborhood that you live in now is over the budget that you have, if you make, $20,000-$30,000 a year, New York is not a good fit. If you make $30,000-$50,000 a year, maybe you have to go to Jersey, maybe you have to go to certain parts of Jersey, or maybe you have to go to upstate New York, to find your deals. Okay. The point is you're doing the research online first, so that when you go out to the neighborhood, you're not wasting your time, while looking and, looking for houses for sale, et cetera, et cetera. All right. Once you find your niche, once you find your county, once you find a property, the neighborhood with the lower price point, decent neighborhood, et cetera, you want to go ahead and begin looking for properties in that neighborhood to the largest capacity. Find a real estate agent that will be willing to work with you, that work directly in that neighborhood, a professional that works in that county, in that neighborhood. Okay. Don't just choose anybody. Not all real estate agents work in each neighborhood. Some work in Northern Jersey, some Central, some Southern. Some people work in the Bronx, some Manhattan, some Queens, so it all depends. Okay. And then what you want to do is you want to go and speak to a mortgage broker to see if you could get a pre-approval, see what you would be pre-approved for. Okay, they're going to run your credit, just to let you know. So if you haven't gotten your credit taken care of, credit fixed, like I always say, get that taken care of, get some trade lines, go to Ox Publishing. Okay, go to DSX Design. Um, you could go to also to My Jewelers Club. You could also go to Z Black Card / PTCE. All right. You could go. You could also go to um, what else? 609creditrepair.com. Um, We Management Inc. WeManagementInc.com, and these people will help you fix your credit, help you to rebuild your credit if your credit is in the 400s or 500s. Now, you will be eligible for FHA if you have a 580. They also have programs out there that where you may have to put, I think, 5% down if your credit is at between a 500 and 560. Okay, instead of putting 3.5% down, you put 5% down. Okay. And if you listen to my podcast that I discuss various loans and et cetera, VA loans, different mortgages for 2019. I go into different options that you guys have. Okay. Um, and I believe if you go to connectroberta.com, or what you could do is you could go to her Instagram page, Roberta Hosky Instagram page, and she speaks about that on her Wednesday live radio show. Okay, so once you figure this thing out, you got your attorneys, you're getting your team together, you have your attorneys, you have your mortgage banker, you have your real estate agents, you have your title company, you have your contractors, okay, you have your inspectors, you have all those people working with you in your company, and all these things are tax write-offs, by the way, because you have your LLC put together, right? You may have to start off by purchasing your first property in your name. Then what you could do is you could do a quick claims deed to transfer the company into your LLC. My suggestion for you to my suggestion is for you to speak to the bank or the company that has the loan and let them know that you're interested in transferring your company's name into the LLC. Excuse me, transferring the real estate into the company's name instead of your own for privacy purposes. All right. This way, now, from what you when you do that, you also create an S corporation and you separate your real estate from your money. In case you get sued or anything like that, you allow your real estate attorney to be power of attorney on all legal proceedings, et cetera, dealing with your real estate. So if anybody needs to contact you with regarding to your real estate and your LLC, they'll be in touch with the attorney and not you. You have a blanket over you is what it's called. But reach out to real estate attorneys in your neighborhood with regards to that. Okay. The other thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and put a land trust over the properties that you purchase as well. Okay, put a land trust that's going to, now you could make a choice. You could put your properties under the LLC or you could put the properties under the S corporation. It's up to you. But like I said before, speak to a real estate attorney about it. That way you could get the best advice from legal. Okay. Even though I've studied these things, I've studied law and so on and so forth, I'm not a legal attorney in real estate. Okay. So understand that. I have my license, in real estate that I do have, and licensed to teach and so on and so forth, right, in the real estate field. But um, so you want to go ahead and do that. You have your team in place. Hopefully, you guys are writing all this stuff down. You have your team in place, your attorneys, et cetera, et cetera. Um, and you've gotten your pre-approval from the mortgage banker, right? Now, look, listen, this is important. Um, my suggestion: I'm going to give you a company to contact. Anchor Mortgage is the company, right? That's the company, Anchor Mortgage, right? Anchor Mortgage. Reach out to them, see what options they have, and this way they could look at your stuff. Because what happened to me, what ultimately ended up happening is, I inquired a lot of hard inquiries. I acquired a lot of hard inquiries, like 14, going trying to find, which mortgage bank or insurance company is best to work with. Okay, and so it is important that you guys, know this information. So it's Anchor Mortgage. That's one of the companies you could go to. They're going to check your credit. They're going to tell you what you would be pre-approved for. They're going to ask you for job information. They're going to ask you if you've been at your job for 2 years, which is something else that I speak about in my past podcast. And the laws behind that. So listen to my other podcast that discusses that. Okay. And then what you want to do is you want to move on to the next process, which is going to have the property inspected. Um, with your real estate agent. Each property that you go to, look at which one is the best one. Think about the options that you have, because you have various ways that you could finagle a deal within real estate. So you could do a renovation loan. You could do, conventional FHA, Fannie Mae, homepath.com. Right. And this is what you want to tell the real estate agent and the mortgage banker and so on and so forth. You want to tell them that you're interested in moving into a property. This is your first home. Okay, whether it's a 1 unit or all the way up to a 4 unit in a storefront. This is your first home. Okay, you're getting a multifamily so that you can live in 1 unit, rent the other units out. You let them know that you are not using this property as an investor, because when you do that, they get confused and um, they start running numbers as if you're an investor and not as a real estate, not as a first-time home buyer. Unfortunately, a lot of people in the real estate industry, um, they're so used to the normal everyday person coming to find a property that they don't realize that a person that's starting a business in real estate that is going to purchase their first home is still a first time home buyer when they're going to move into the property and live in it for a year, 2 years, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so I trust me, I've been through it already. Real estate, a lot of real estate agents and mortgage bankers get confused, and then they start saying, well, are you doing this? Are you doing that? They start not trusting you because you yourself don't seem to be confident, or you're confused about what's going on, especially if you try to do a deal with a business partner and both of you guys are working on it together. They make it so much more difficult when you have a partner involved and you doing it on your own. Okay. Now, if you really need to have a business partner involved with doing this, then I understand, but just make sure that they're credit worthy, make sure that they have their income is together, make sure that all their things are together as well. Okay. This way you don't have to worry about it. Okay. The sun is actually coming up right now. This is why the light is so bright. I was born light skinned, so unfortunately, this is what happens sometimes. And we're almost through with the video, so got to keep on going. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new video, a part 2 to this video. This way, we all could be on one page. We all could be on one accord with the following process. I don't want to rush through showing you guys what to do next, et cetera, et cetera. So we are on the part of looking at the properties, doing negotiating on the deal, negotiating with the seller's agent, putting down your having the inspector come in and inspect the property, making sure that the property is FHA approved, making sure that there are no violations in the property, making sure that the renovation costs won't be so high, making sure that it's around the same numbers. Get a contractor in there, see how much it would cost to get certain things renovated, and sometimes you'll be able to actually get documents from past contracting, from past inspections. It'll all be in public record. Okay. Ask your real estate agent for that information. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and move on to the next phase. Okay. The next level, which is closing on a deal, which is filling out, giving the good faith deposit, and a whole bunch of other great things. All right. And then we'll move on to the next phase in terms of building the properties, developing the portfolio, and so on and so forth. All right. So this is the Real Estate Confidant School, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mike Razor, and hopefully you have an amazing day. Remember, knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is a portfolio.